Hello, you're very welcome to stage one of the only World Tour event in the Middle East. It is the UAE Tour 2025. We've got the shortest road race stage of the week for you. Short, sharp shock for the riders as we make our way out of the remarkable Shams Solar Power Station in Madinat Zayed. We head towards Liwa, the oasis in Liwa, a remarkable part of the world in the southern part of Abu Dhabi. Sprint stage, they're calling it. Could be a little bit more than that. Contrast in geographical nature presented to the riders today. As a long straight run, could be a potential for a crosswind or two along this long straight and a very exposed section that takes us to Liwa. And as you can see, a remarkable dune landscape will be explored in a couple of 18 and a bit kilometer loops that will take us in and around, meandering around the narrow cycle track. We saw these last year for the first time. Really amazing part of the world. And it'll take us back to Liwa. Got a couple of intermediate sprints along the way. And then the sting in the tail. Riders make a left turn just as they make their way back towards Liwa, up towards the palace, Liwa Palace, and it's a ramp up. Could potentially drag a couple of the climbers into the fray against the sprinters. Billed as one for the sprinters, could be a little bit more than that. And as you can see, it's a little bit choppier than you might expect. Almost 1,500 meters of elevation across 138 kilometers of riding today. The great and the good out to send the riders on their way. Among them, for many, the red-hot favourite, 2 times a champion of this event, the reigning world champion, Tadej Pogacar, all eyeballs, as you might expect, on the man, representing the interests of the home squad, UAE Team Emirates, gunning for glory for a 3rd year out of 4.
I don't think today I have the chance to go for the win, but yeah, let's see tomorrow. It's a time trial. There is some possibility, but let's see how the legs will turn today, and if we have a chance tomorrow. If not, we go for the mountain stages.
Leonard, usually the defending champion is also the favorite. Are you?
For sure not. I think everyone knows who the favorite is today. I mean, not even today, but just this UAE Tour, and I think he's a favorite in every race he starts, and this one is no different.
After 2 years of absence in this race, how was the feeling to come back in the UAE with the rainbow jersey?
Yeah, it feels really great, especially with this jersey on, and yeah, home race for the team, so I'm really happy to be back.
All right, the organization called this a sprint stage. The referees don't agree. The 3-kilometer rule doesn't apply. For you, sprint stage or not sprint stage?
Yeah, I think we'll see a sprint, yeah.
What makes you think that it's a sprint or a standard sprint?
Yeah, I think the run-in should be one with a big bunch, and yeah, of course the last 100 meters look a bit harder, but yeah, I think I still see the sprinters fighting for the win.
Yeah, I think it's also a really good finish that suits Tadej. I think it's gonna be a bit battle between sprinters and punchy climbers. I don't know that we have a lot of reference from the last years or the teams that recon of the stage, so it will be exciting to watch the final kilometer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a delicious prospect as we see the riders sort of in that division between these remarkable solar panels. The biggest solar-powered energy station on planet Earth, I do believe, certainly among the very biggest.
So, as often we see in many races, if you watch the coverage of the Giro d'Italia, you'll be familiar with this team. They don't often go in a breakaway on their own. They go and break away with their teammates, and this is exactly what's happening here. So, look, you know, I was watching this race last year, and the Scot riding for Corotech got himself in a breakaway last year. So there's a good situation to get yourself in the breakaway today and try and get the sprints jersey, because Mark Stewart, the Scot, got himself that jersey in this first stage last year and carried it all the way to the finish. So that's in the back of the minds of most of these riders. But we can see the shape of the peloton, predominantly kind of headwind today. A lot of teams not willing to get themselves in the breakaway, apart from a couple of the smaller, the pro team teams.
Yeah, no huge contest for the breakaway at the moment. Looks as if the field are in sort of back to school promenade mode at the moment. The reigning champion Leonard van Eitveld is very much in the event and getting used to a little bit of extra attention. Flew under the radar all the way to the 7th and final stage of last year's event when he took a glorious success in Jebel Hafid, and he's now become a rider to watch, a rider of prominence. He bookended his season very neatly indeed. Actually, his first World Tour event last year, it resulted in victory here in the UAE Tour, and then he finished it off at the Tour of Guangxi at the end of the year. So it was a good year, pretty good year, breakout year for Leonard van Eitveld. We'll see whether he can continue his progress and up against stiffer opposition, to say the least, this year. Is the intermediate sprint, the first of the two, coming up very shortly. At Liwa, not far from the finish, albeit we've got another almost 90k to go before we get to that. And Tarozzi's forced to lead this one out down to the final 150 meters, and he's got decent legs here. And will it be Biagini that's going to challenge, or will Samudio be able to get that? It's a full-blooded assault here. Who's going to get it? Looks like Samudio's managed to beat the Bardianis, and that will be a source of frustration for the two Italian riders. But first helping of points, and indeed bonus seconds for what it's worth, claimed by the Panamanian Carlos Samudio of the Solution Tech Vinny Fantini squad.
Well, that was a great effort, and you can see he's, a chunky, strong rider. And what were Bardiani doing? Tarozzi tried, and see, when he was brought back, I thought, his teammate Biagini would have gone there, and they played into the hands of Samudio there, and clearly the fastest of the three that. I think we have to cover the fact that there's no 3K rule, so the time will be taken on the line, and the GC, the punchy kind of climbers have to be there as well with the sprinters. But I think looking at this finish, Declan,
that means, sorry to interrupt, but that means no 3K rule means that the commissars, the race officials, have decided that this isn't a sprint stage, really.
Yes.
So, which is sort of a conflict with what the organisers, I mean, they believe it's very much one for the sprinters. So it seems to be a sort of, nobody can really decide who this stage is really going to suit.
Which is sometimes good, isn't it?
Yeah, keeps us all talking. As we head towards the Morib Dune and the bike track. One of the world's largest dunes, the Morib Dune, just over 300 metres high. Average speed of the first 2 hours of racing, 37.2 kilometers an hour, so it hasn't quite ramped up in pace. It's about it was 37.7 for the first hour of racing. So maintaining the pace, hasn't quite revved up, but it's kind of revving up there a little bit now, isn't it? Everyone wants to be on the front, but to get to the bike track, it's almost like charging into one of the bergs in a classic, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that position. Still a few riders down the back, especially the pink jerseys of EF Education Easy Post, not really kind of interested coming onto the circuit now. So I don't think anything will happen, but it's one of these things where if something does, then if you're at the back, you should have made the effort. Olaf Koy's at the back, but he already said in his interview at the start that he wasn't feeling good. I'm hoping that he's there come the finish, but I think with the fact that he's riding down the back, he's one of the favourites for the day. But now that he's just told us that he wasn't feeling well, it's no surprise.
Jasper Philipsen was last man of the bunch, just behind Cor. So I think that's surprising, really. I mean, again, I think you're probably right. There's a collective will not to, to have a specific pattern of a stage. There are enough teams in there that want more or less the same. They have a similar objective.
Just dodging that bottle there. A lot of riders just throwing off the bottles there. Tomorrow will be the first time we'll see any kind of GC. But just looking here, you can clearly see that UAE start to kind of press on a little bit. Don't think they're trying to do anything. It's just a case of making sure, stretch the peloton out, see what happens. I think if there's any damage done, it'll be done down the back. So maybe they've found out there's a couple of GC guys near the back, and want to kind of try and keep the pressure on. But I think safety in mind more than anything for UAE Team Emirates.
Full-blooded assault here, or is this just for positioning? Well, I'll tell you what, it's put the cat among the pigeons, because the world champions hit the front here. Is there a sense, perhaps, that maybe one or two teams are going to be put under pressure here? When Tadej Pogačar hits the front, everybody gets to know about it really quickly, whether because they're breathing heavily or because people are starting to talk about it. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe will be muchly relieved that they're nicely positioned at the moment, but a sense, perhaps, that Jaco Alula, and that's cost Olaf Koy his position at the front of the peloton, and he and his team will be hoping that there's a considerable cessation of hostilities, and very quickly indeed. And Bruno Armorai was making his way back up towards the peloton, so he found himself back in the cars at an inconvenient time. I wonder if there's anyone else a little bit further back than might be best advised, because Tadej Pogačar's riding here. They're all riding through. Clearly a bit of crosswinds and perhaps an opportunity. This is what you speculated?
Yeah, it has to happen a lot earlier. Mark Stewart went solo, if you remember, coming off the circuit, and he went solo and took it. They know that Samudio in the purple, and he is the strongest, so they have to start. They have to start sooner rather than later.
And they've got to do it ideally in a 1-2 situation where Samudio's asked to close the gap, and then there's immediate reaction, and they're off and running again. And this could be a useful investment for the Bardiani squad. Manuele Tarozzi of the Bardiani squad. VF Group Bardiani, CSF.
He needs to keep going now, because over 2 minutes, 26 kilometres to go. A little bit of downhill. It's rolling, of course, but this is the main sprint.
It's the one that matters. If Samudio on the front here finishes second in this, then it will all go down to the finish line. But if Biagini takes this one, then Tarozzi's going into the lead of that. And it looks like Biagini's got what he wants, and also that's going to be good news for the Bardiani squad. Samudio is vanquished, and that decides it in favour of the Bardiani team. Tarozzi's adventure has paid off, and a solid job done by Biagini as well, as he converts for the Bardiani squad. And different day of doing the old one, a different way of doing the old one too, but it worked out perfectly for them.
This is a bit of a drag here. Any hesitation, and Tarozzi is in the last few kilometres, you never know. So I think for Tarozzi, he's on a knife edge. Sit up, beat Samudio in a finish. I think he will, because he's probably the stronger of the two in this uphill finish. But Samudio has to be looked after by his teammates now. And I think Tarozzi will be collected, but he's doing a terrific job hanging on. Just over 1 minute, and he will go deep into this final.
All up for Tarozzi. He'll need to stay as close to the front as he possibly can, as his very, very tired legs will allow him, and try and, if not interfere, but infiltrate, or at least stay on the coattails of the trains of the leading sprint squads, of which there are numerous. Lots and lots of teams believe that they've got a really good chance here, and that's going to make it for a very entertaining, very interesting finale. Oh, riders down. UAE Team Emirates right at the front of the peloton find that one of their riders has been discombobulated by that one, and that was a painful visit to the tarmac. A couple of riders off their bikes. Great relief, I think, for that so few indeed were impeded by that one, but that was painful. Just looking out the window to see the flags, to get a sense, and we just looked away from our screens for the moment. Painful moment. And just waiting for full confirmation. Was it Milano? Now let's have a look. Now we pick up the live pictures, and still the majority of riders from the UAE Team Emirates squad on the front. Other trains trying to...
Yes, Milano.
Yeah, Juan Sebastian Milano.
A blowout of the cheeks, maybe just... Oh, Oh, it's his own fault.
Oh, he was. Oh, that's a really painful-looking one, and that must have been such a shock to the system. He was just taking a bottle, one hand off the bars, and a little touch of wheels, and it's such a shock. And we hope he's okay and he's going to be able to resume. But for Juan Sebastian Milano, his own personal ambitions for the day, which already may have been tempered, and he may have been directing his attention towards trying to support Tadej Pogacar, but well, either way, he's not there into the finale.
That's the wind direction. It's coming from the left. As we look at the riders coming up the finishing straight, it's coming from the right-hand side. But plenty of movements. Look, this is going to be rather chaotic. And when you get in the chaos of this sprint coming up, it's about being patient again, waiting for the moment, especially in a hard uphill finish like this.
Yeah, well, everyone wants to move up on the left-hand side of the road, but it might not be that easy. There mightn't be quite as much room if it's genius. If everyone else has the same genius idea. So many strong sprinters in here. So many teams committed to this one. Look at that for absolutely flat chat racing. Everybody wants to get into position to this next roundabout because it's a hard left turn and there's a little bit of a drag up and into it. So a lot of riders feeling the pinch a little bit, but great performance by the Ineos Grenadiers squad to put riders to the fore. Have they got enough riders thereabouts? And it's the UAE Team Emirates squad still looking very strong and looking in a strong position. Hardly mentioned Team Picnic, well, not for the last little while. They've got the likes of Tobias Lund to watch out for today. I wonder, can Fabio Jakobsen regain the form that we saw from him in recent seasons? 3.4, make it 3.3 to go. Next big appointment, hard left, K left, 90-degree left turn at a roundabout with 1,600 metres remaining.
UAE Team Emirates doing a great job looking after Tadej Pogacar, who's sitting third. He's been the dominant force. This team of UAE Team Emirates have really ridden towards the front. Lost Milano in the run-in, but look at Durbridge coming up there. He is the Australian champion. He's got the purple jerseys, and they've probably got the most riders up here towards the front, looking after the Dutch champion in the reds. Of the Dutch champion. This is the reds, white and blue of the Netherlands flag. So they have got numbers towards the front where others haven't.
Inside 3 to go. Dylan Groenewegen is in the box seat on the tail of his purple-clad teammates from Team Jayco Alula. The world champion sitting third in line and sitting pretty at the moment. The other teams starting to move up, and they're moving across to try and prevent that a little bit. And the likes of the Bora team... Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe squad trying to move up Sam Welsford. Who else is trying to move up? We see the Bahrain Victorious team, and with the hopes for Phil Bauhaus today, trying to jostle and put themselves into prime position.
Yeah, Philipsen has eventually moved up there. He's in the grey. He's got two teammates in front of him. The peloton now being led in the purple jerseys for Dylan Groenewegen. A movement in the left-hand side by Visma, and even Lido Trekker down to 2 riders to help out. We're just coming up to this left-hand roundabout where we'll sweep left, and it will be all uphill towards the finishing line.
Well, the left turn will take them into a long straight road for home, and this is the next big appointment, the final moment for a lot of the riders in the lead out here. But how many more riders will still be in contention when they make the left turn? And command at the front of the peloton is vital here. You see how long it stretches and how thin it is stretched by the effort on the front. And what about that from the Alpecin de Koning squad? As Jasper Philipsen is presented into the final 1,400 metres in a fine third place in the line. So it's looking very strong at the moment. Everybody wants to get Philipsen's wheel. It's getting pretty serious in there. It's all getting very hectic, to say the least. And Tadej Pogacar sitting in a very strong and impressive top 10 position at the moment, hanging on the coattails of Philipsen and friends. Who's going to launch first? Nobody wants to do it. They're approaching the kite. 1,000 metres remaining, and the Tudor squad have arrived at the front. And can they possibly believe that Arvid de Klein can do it today?
Yeah, Arvid de Klein is not towards the front. He's going to be in distance, but he does have teammates up there. Andreas Lund is up there in third place, and a lot of riders being distanced. Remember the wind coming from the right-hand side. Everybody waiting patiently and getting closer and closer. A lot looking back. Milan's there, Philipsen there, Pogacar's there. Just looking to see where the European champion a little bit further back, but Lund is propped on the front.
Well, Zilliard was who's the last man to lead out for Tudor Pro Cycling, but unfortunately they haven't got a sprinter there at the moment. Lund is waiting for his moment to shine, as indeed is Jasper Philipsen. And what about the world champion? He's in the win at the moment, but he looks as if he's just waiting to go. Bardiani trying to move up and get involved in the fight as well today. Can they possibly? As Philipsen is going to be dropped off. He's still got a rider left. They get closer and closer to the line. We're going to take you side on all the way here. What about Pogacar? Pogacar's there and ready to launch. He's eager and he believes he can do it. Philipsen has got the wheel of the world champion. Milan is there as well, and they're all fighting for Tadej Pogacar's wheel. But who's got the strength for the final couple of 100 metres? It's the long ride to the line from here, and Milan looking good. Has he got enough into the final 150 metres? This is going to be a long sprint. Philipsen coming with a run. Philipsen to the line inside the final 50. They're side by side, Milan and Philipsen, but it's Milan's going to get it. What about that? The long sprint goes the way of Lidl-Trek. They've got so much to celebrate from a perfect delivery today, and it was a glorious conversion there from Jonathan Milan, who takes the glory for the Lidl-Trek squad, vanquishes Jasper Philipsen and the rest of the Sprinters World Championship, you might say. But it was a sensational sprint, and it went on forever. But what about that? Perhaps the biggest sprinter in the race, certainly the tallest, but he had the power to deliver a stunning success on the way up to Lima Palace today. He'll take a while to recover from that one, but that was a beautiful victory delivered by Jonathan Milan.
This is where Pogacar went. This was too far to go. It caused a reaction from Milan. Philipsen also there. And, you know, it's a case of, you know, Aaron Gate going in the left-hand side here. We thought, right, this is open up. Milan opens up. He has to go. This is 200 metres to go. Philipsen is on the way. We think, right, he's going to pounce. He's coming. He's coming. He comes out the slipstream of him. 100 to go. He goes almost alongside him. Doesn't go past. Looks round. Doesn't have the legs. Milan holds and takes the victory. I tell you what, another great sprint there by Fisher Black there. Strong finish. Okay, gets switched over from Philipsen. We'll wait until the jury says that, because you can't change line there. I think he impeded Fisher Black a little bit, but we'll wait and the judges and the jury deciding on that. But there was one winner today, and that was the strongest.
I have to say thanks to my guys, because like every race they control, they support me, and then they lead me to end like this. So first, thanks to them, and yeah, super happy about it. I'm really tired now. Tomorrow we will try to defend. Also the leader jersey that I would have, I think, and yeah, until then I will try just to rest as much as possible.
So the finishing order is confirmed. Jonathan Milan ahead of Finn Fisher Black now. Tobias Lund, Van Eetveld, Donnelly, Gates, Tejada, Taminio, Bauhaus, and Tadej Pogacar pulled into the top 10 as a result of that revision of the finishing order, with Jasper Philipsen relegated to the back of the bunch.
We present to you the winner of stage 1 of the UAE Tour from Lidl-Trek, Jonathan Milan.
Milan delivers after a great day of chasing. A wonderful presentation into the final sprint. Revised overall standings, Jonathan Milan ahead of Finn Fisher Black by 4 seconds. Tobias Lund sprinting well, sits third. Leonard Van Eetveld handily placed at the end of day 1. Only Gate, Tejada, Taminio, Bauhaus, and Tadej Pogacar, who I think will be reasonably satisfied and content with staying upright and staying out of trouble, albeit not getting any bonus seconds today.
We present to you the leader of the UAE Tour from Lidl-Trek, Jonathan Milan.
Red jersey sits comfortably on the shoulders of a rider who has really blossomed in the last year. Not too many sprinters in that top 10, in actual fact are there, so it's a significant early advantage in the points classification for Jonathan Milan.
The white jerseys, the leader of the points classification in the green Mubadala jersey from Lidl-Trek, Jonathan Milan.
Jonathan Milan.
So the overall also reflected in the young rider classification.
The best young rider in the white Nakil jersey from Lidl-Trek, Jonathan Milan.
Jonathan Milan.
Tarozzi and Samudi are locked in combat just a point back to Biagini. I wonder if we'll see those riders again trying to see if they give them the break. They've got a day off, I suppose, from that tomorrow. Tomorrow's a time trial. Tarozzi making a name for himself once more.
From VF Group, Bardiani, GSF Faisane, Manuele Tarozzi.